28th of January, 2025. And the Bitcoin and crypto markets have moved up a little bit since the start of the new daily candle. Not all, but obviously a large percentage of them, certainly the top leaders in the marketplace. Bitcoin, Solana, Litecoin, XRP. We've seen some nice movements on the day so far. And the reason for that is very simple, right? Despite yesterday's little move to the downside, where it bounced very nicely. Once, for example, certain specific areas on the VRE levels and the normal levels and the Laplace levels were tagged, and the reverse wave trend, for example, on the daily time frame of Bitcoin was hit, the assets started to move back up. Not a surprise at all. Keep in mind, Bitcoin, Solana, and other assets, certain other assets, are continuing to be in mean reversion to the 3012 RMLR on the daily time frame, which is currently below where those assets are, respectively, for each one. And so it will not be a surprise at all to see those assets continue to mean revert, possibly to the downside, if not sideways, over the next number of days. Should it extend out further, right? If the assets continue to rise, despite the daily volatility looking fairly downward today on a number of assets, including Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP, and Litecoin, there is information on returns oscillators, invariance, and entropy that indicates to the other side, towards the upside. So we could see the assets continue moving to the upside today, possibly, if they don't shift back down towards the major volatility lengths that indicate it's going to the downside. And we'll see how that plays out. But basically, variance, returns oscillator, and entropy are all looking to the upside. So for now, the movement to the upside is really no surprise at all, because that's what the price action is doing. It's following the majority of those indicators, with those primary leading information indicators. And so, yeah, we could see more movement to the upside. And if it does that, and if it stays above the RMLR lines on the daily time frames, to which they are mean reverting, well, then it could take some many more days, maybe even up to a month, maybe longer, but it certainly could take a while before it completes those mean reversions. It certainly will complete those mean reversions, and the reason that that's important to remember is because, once again, you can use the RMLR as a target for the mean reversions, right? So right now, those RMLRs are below the assets in question, but they certainly, the RMLR could at some point rise above where the asset is without touching the actual asset. And it depends how it plays out, but that certainly is a possibility. And it could take a while before it hits that RMLR, so that's a good guidepost for any movement towards the RMLR itself, whether it's down, sideways, or up. And likewise, the third band to the upside, which it stopped hitting on various assets as far back as a week ago, and in some cases 5 days ago, it is not likely to hit those bands again. For example, on Bitcoin or Solana, it is not likely to hit those third bands to the upside again before completing the mean reversions to those RMLRs. So that means that if it does go to the upside and approaches those bands, then before it actually hits those bands is statistically a good take profit area, because it's not likely to hit them. And even if it does, it's likely to still be a good area to take profit on daily candles, because you'll likely see it spike through and shoot back down if it does happen, which again is highly improbable, but possible, but highly improbable. And even if it does go above those bands for some improbable reason and stays above it, well, you can continue to trade, by re-entering a position back to the upside if it's indicating it's heading that way, or you could flip it and go to the downside if it's indicating that it's eventually going to come back down through it, which in all probability it will eventually do. So that is basically a quick recap of what Bitcoin and crypto and altcoins are doing. Well, Bitcoin and altcoins and crypto are doing today. We'll see, obviously, as the traditional market comes to open, if there will be any trending moves on the 15-minute or lower time frames. There's a very good probability that we'll see that because the central daily ranges are fairly tight enough to be a trending day. Bitcoin, for example, is just over 1%. And and the central daily range has been tested on Bitcoin, indicating that, if it stays above it, it can continue to run up. It doesn't have to go test it again. Not that it ever has to test it, but usually it does. Yesterday, arguably, you could say it didn't really test the CDR. It came really close at the opening of yesterday's candle. It didn't quite test it. But that's a fairly rare occurrence, and it was extremely close. You might say, well, it was close enough for a test. In my book, it wasn't really, but some would say that it's close enough. But today, it definitely tested it. Very little so far, just at the top of the central daily range, but it was enough to be a test on two separate candles. One closed down in it, and another one started, the very next candle started in it and then moved back up through it. But it was, they were both inside of the central daily range. So two candles, good enough for a test. Even one candle is really good enough for a test, to be honest. As long as it enters the central daily range, in my book, a test is a test, right? So keep that in mind. Remember to trade low time frames so that you can stack and rack, or rack and stack, because you are much more likely to rack and stack profits by doing that than by trying to hold on to very long time frame trades just so you can see your P&L of one trade go up or something. That's not the way that the high frequency trading firms run their trades. They run incredibly fast, very low time frame trades, precisely because it allows them to rack and stack many more profitable trades and gains throughout the day. For example, if you look at yesterday, if you were swing trading from Sunday until today, you would have had no profits or even been in a loss, because if you were shorting, if you were shorting from Sunday night and it dropped whatever 5%, 9%, depending what you were trading, and then bounced back all the way up to where it was practically by today, you'd be even or at a loss. As opposed to if you traded the lower time frames, you could have traded the way down, traded the way back up, traded the way back down again, traded the way back up, and added up those little percentage gains over the course of the day, and you would have made more doing that than holding a trade that would have basically ended up flat or negative in your P&L balance. So keep that in mind. If you want to learn, by the way, how to do this for free, you can. You can just go to the Alpha Trading Discord, which is at alphatradinghq.com/discord. Once again, that's alphatradinghq.com/discord. Enter the Discord, it's free. Go to the request support channel, click the button that says create ticket, and then in there say you want your free access to the volatility starter kit, and we'll get you that pack of indicators for free. And they're yours to keep and use as long as you stay in our Discord, as long as you don't permanently leave it. You'll even get a preloaded chart with the indicators on them, and you'll get all the educational information you need to learn about how to trade volatility, probability, and statistics, and access to the chats, the chat channels, access to the live streams where you can, of course, listen to the live streams, watch the live streams that we do in our Discord Monday through Saturday, starting at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And you can also participate in the live streams either by text in the chat channel of the voice. The voice channel has a text channel, You can, enter your questions there, see if you want to see any assets traded, analyzed, and you can, of course, participate by voice in our lively and fun discussions about trading the VEPs. The whole purpose of our live streams is to educate you, and it's absolutely for free. Educate you about a better way to trade, which is trading the VEPs, just like the HFT firms and the big quant shops do. So, yeah, you're welcome to join Alpha Trading for free. Join the Discord for free. It's a great little community of serious traders who actually, wants to learn a better way to trade, and that's what the VEPs offers. All right, take care. See you.